There can only be one. Unless you make 3 other movies and 2 TV shows and comic books and video games. Then I guess you can have more than one. Highlander is a 1986 epic starring Christopher Lambert. Connor MacLeod is an immortal man known as a Highlander and has been alive for centuries. He is hunted by another Highlander named Kurgan. Connor must defeat him and save the world before Kurgan becomes the final Highlander. Full transparency, I was going to review Highlander next week, and this week I was going to do Time Cop, and then I watched Time Cop. My main focus with these videos is to make a little bit more positive content where I can point out if something is ridiculous or if I didn't like something, but overall I'm trying to keep everything positive as a whole. So unfortunately with Time Cop, I had nothing nice to say. I quickly pivoted to Highlander, and I have some more positive things to say than Time Cop. I will start with the negatives of this movie first, and then we'll get into the positives. One of the negatives that I have is that I think that the movie is too long. Most of the subplot of Brenda, who is the love interest for Connor MacLeod in the movie, she's a forensic scientist that is trying to figure out who he is and what is going on with him. We know that he's immortal through flashbacks and stuff like that. It's not even until like the last 15 minutes of the movie that she finds out that he is a Highlander. So pretty much every scene is her trying to solve a mystery we already know the answer to. There's a TV show called Poker Face that came out recently. They show you the crime immediately. The first thing that you see is who got killed and who killed them. And then the rest of the show is just the detective trying to figure out what happened. The problem is that's not compelling to me because I already know who did it. It's not a situation where she finds a clue and you go, what could that be? You go, oh yeah, no, she found that very obvious clue that somebody left. It doesn't work for me. I feel that this movie is the same. I think it just slows down the pacing quite a bit. The other thing is that Christopher Lambert's accent in this movie is f***ing atrocious. When you have flashbacks to him and his time in Scotland, his Scottish accent isn't the worst. It's not amazing. It's disrespectful to butcher a Scottish accent directly to Sean Connery's face, but it's at least he's trying. His accent for the rest of the movie sounds more like Tommy Wiseau than anything.
I like your place, Brenda.
No, I can't. Anyway, how is your sex life?
I wonder if that's done as it is just a weird dialect because he's picked it up through the years. That's what I'm going to have to hope. Hi, it's me from the future. While I was pulling clips for this video, I found an interview with Christopher Lambert. I thought that he was doing a weird accent for the movie that's maybe ambiguous because it could be from different places of the world. Turns out, he just talks like that. So that's my bad. My apologies. Let's keep this between you and me. Let's pretend that never happened, okay? Great. I think some of the weakest stuff in the movie is the modern day stuff. When you do flashbacks to medieval times and World War II and stuff like that, you get a lot of beautiful imagery and kind of lavish locations to look at, except for most of this movie takes place in alleyways and apartments in the 80s. It's not that you're having a bad time, it's definitely not as interesting as most of the stuff that happens like Scotland. I realize it's a bit of you can't have sunshine without a little bit of rain, but for me, I just didn't really enjoy it. But with all of that being said, there's a lot that I do really like about this movie. The concept of they are immortal and there can only be one immortal left is very simple, but it is very intriguing. All of the Scottish countryside is perfection to look at. There's a flashback in World War II that's really sweet. I love seeing the hundreds of years that he's been alive. Pretty much every scene with Sean Connery is incredible. He really seems like he's having a good time. Maybe Sean Connery doesn't have a good time, but it looks like it, and to me, that's fun. Obviously, like Flash Gordon, Queen does the music. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with Queen for the music. When Queen hits, Queen hits. There is one scene, it's probably my favorite scene of the movie. It shows kind of the beautiful pain of when you live forever, you have to watch the people that you love most die. So he watches his wife age while the Queen plays in the background. It really tugs at your heartstrings. You have to take away the very bad old age makeup, but take that aside. It's beautiful. It's really heartfelt and wonderful. It's kind of the standout for me in the movie. Obviously, I'm a fan of Queen. I know a lot of Queen songs. I didn't realize that was for this movie. Kurgan, played by Clancy Brown, otherwise known as Mr. Krabs himself.
You're spending all my money!
He's gross, but interesting. You can tell how much fun he is having in the role. I love being able to see something like that. The scene where he's scaring Brenda in the car and he's screaming and having it's very funny and a good time. Even though this movie could be a little bit tighter and take place less in apartments, there's a lot that I like about this. Concept's interesting. The action is good. Acting isn't the greatest all the time, but it does have really beautiful moments. It's got some fun filming ideas. I did enjoy my time quite a bit. I'm gonna give Highlander a 7 out of 10. I didn't know if I was gonna do this one or not, and then I got a comment of somebody asking to do Highlander. Shout out, thank you. So if you have more suggestions, please let me know. If I hate it, I won't talk about it. So you've been warned. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you next time.